I'm going to make this short and sweet because I know that as soon as I post this, I'm going to get a lot of hate and there are going to be a lot of people that dislike me. For anybody who knows me, they know I hate the Pittsburgh Penguins. I strongly dislike Sidney Crosby. And I actually kind of like Gino. But that's it. And also, anyone who knows me knows that I grew up, still am, a diehard Bruins fan. I feel this has to be said because the media is starting to get on my last nerve. Sidney Crosby got a concussion during the Winter Classic this past season. And 2 days later, while knowing he was not feeling right, made the decision on his own to play against Tampa, where he got hit and his concussion symptoms worsened. There's been an awful lot of hate towards the guy who hit Sidney in the Winter Classic, Stackle. That was incidental contact. As most people know, anyone with concussion symptoms, the slightest hit, the slightest jog of the brain could cause severe symptoms to come back. Or, what are slight symptoms, to worsen. Steckel doesn't deserve the hate he gets. Because in all actuality, Sidney Crosby knew he wasn't feeling right, and he chose to play anyways. He put himself in a position, and yes, I'm going to say this, he put himself in a position where his symptoms were worsened because of his decision. Now, I'm all for headshots being taken out of the league, but not because Sidney Crosby says so. Because if I remember correctly, Sidney Crosby, a year ago, May, wasn't calling for headshots to be taken out of the league. In fact, he was defending the league's headshot artist in Matt Cook. I know they're teammates. But if you feel so strongly on the subject, like Sidney obviously does now, I feel there needs to be an explanation behind this, because I'm not going to buy the all of a sudden change of heart. You need to tell me flat out that, you know what, until I actually went through this, I didn't really feel this way. But now that I'm going through it, and I know what this is like, you know what? Something needs to change. My favorite player of all time had to retire this summer because of concussions. He got his first in 1996 with an elbow to the head, very eerily similar to the hit Aaron Rome laid on Nathan Horton in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals this year. He got his second in 98, 2 weeks before the Olympics, when he was cross-checked in the face. He got his third in the 2003 Stanley Cup Finals, Game 6, probably the most memorable game for any Anaheim Ducks fan, and especially me. When he was hit from the blind side, late hit, again, very eerily similar to Aaron Rome's hit on Nathan Horton by Scott Stevens. He did end up coming back in that game and scoring a goal, but that's besides the point. And he suffered his last one in 2009. from Patrick Latta, which was very similar to the 96 hit. The difference being the hit in 96 was a suspendable offense. 2009 apparently was not. So I know what it's like, Pittsburgh fans, to have your favorite player out with a concussion. 2007, my favorite Bruin was out for an entire season with a concussion on a hit from behind by Randy Jones. And then I watched your forward Matt Cook take out our star forward Mark Savard with an elbow to the head, and everyone jumped to defend Matt Cook. It was dirty, and no, it was not illegal at the time, but it was still dirty and it was still wrong, and it showed a very deep lack of respect from Matt Cook, which he apparently still does not have. So, to anyone who feels that they can complain about what Sidney Crosby is going through, and yet feel they can still defend Matt Cook, you need to pick a side. You either defend Matt Cook, or you complain about Sidney Crosby. You cannot have both. And Sidney, I'm not going to buy it. I know that you're hurt. I know you have a concussion. And I know how a lot of the time people won't speak up about something until it happens to them. But that's where my issue lies. You watched your teammate for I don't know how many years, because again, I don't watch Pittsburgh. Throw elbow after elbow at people's heads, narrowly missing them, until he finally severely injured a player. And you didn't say a word. And now you're very adamant about headshots and elbows and everything in between. Well, guess what? How are we supposed to take you seriously? Because I know I can't.